Shosholoza, shosholoza, kulezondaba sitimela sibume South Africa. Shosholoza, shosholoza, kulezondaba sitimela sibume South Africa. Shosholoza, shosholoza, kulezondaba sitimela sibume South Africa.
Today we are joined by teacher Pumi, a South African living in China. Pumi, welcome to Voice of Solutions podcast. It's a pleasure to have you. How are you doing?
Hi, Aviwe. I am well, thanks. And how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Nice to see you again. How is Pumi today, or how is the weather where you are?
Pumi is doing great. The weather here is cool for now. I think we're in the spring currently in my city. So it is really good weather before it gets too hot. Yeah, liking it.
That's good. At least a bit balanced.
Yeah.
Pumi, just tell us a bit about yourself. Just a brief introduction about yourself.
Okay, my name is Pumi Leroy Nyalungu, and I am from South Africa. I grew up in Pretoria, then I went and studied at the University of Johannesburg. And then after that, I did work in South Africa, different jobs. I did a few jobs there and then until I decided that, you know what, this is not really my passion. It's not something I want to do. So I decided to go back to school and study PGCE. Then that's when I started my career or pursue my passion of teaching. And currently I'm in China.
Okay. No, nice to hear that brief introduction. You said you grew up in Pretoria, right? And you went to school there. And how was that for you? How was your childhood, basically? How was your experience as a child?
My experience growing up was really, I have to say, it was nice. It was great, but I was like a loner. Didn't really have much friends, had that one or two friends growing up. And back home, we lived like a modest, family life where it was just my mom, my dad, and 6 siblings. We were 6 growing up.
Oh, okay.
And
Nice.
yeah, it was kind of big, yeah. And I was known as that child who like sells acha. So anytime like you would be like, oh, where is this child? They're like, oh, the one that sells acha. Like, yeah, that one. So growing up, I was known as the girl who sells acha. So that's how it was. But at school, I was known as the smart one because I
The smart one.
always yeah. So at school, I really made sure that I study really hard because I really wanted to see myself somewhere one day. So yeah,
Okay.
that was about it.
No, that is interesting because my next question would have been the way you were carrying yourself at school. Would you be happy if your daughter carried herself the same way?
Yes, definitely. Oh, yes, definitely. I because not that I want her to exactly have the same feelings that I had about home, because growing up in such a big family, obviously there's a lot of things, financial strains there and there, being the one who was responsible. I'm a firstborn, by the way. So sometimes everything else fell on you. You were the one who had to be more responsible for the little ones. So in that sense, no. But in the education part, yes, definitely. I would want her to follow in my footsteps, which I'm so happy she's doing that right now. So I'm
That's
really
good. Yeah. So that's very much interesting. Okay, then you go to the university, and how was the university experience for you when you go to university?
University. It was really hard. I won't lie. When you come from a background where you don't really have much, that actually goes with you wherever you go until you decide to change the situation, once you're able to get the means. So when I got to university, it was really, really difficult. There were days, when you would look around you and there was nothing to eat. There were days where you would sit at school from morning till evening because you had to wait for the bus to come for you to go back home because you didn't have money for
Yeah.
transport, things like that. Or
Yeah.
maybe because you didn't have any test books, so you had to be in the library in order for you to study there or to do your assignments there. So
Yeah.
those kind of things. You didn't have a computer or a laptop, so those were some of the difficulties that I faced. But I pushed through them. I have to say, I did
That's
push through
good, and
them.
and it
Yeah.
shows, right? Yeah, and it shows. No, no, that's great. Okay, now just South Africa in general. Before you left South Africa, how was South Africa for you? Like, what was your experience in South Africa? What are the kind of food that you loved, or the meals that you loved about South Africa? What are the experiences in
Yeah.
terms of the memories that you had about South Africa? Just highlighting those.
So my life in South Africa and my life here, I feel like there's not much difference as to how I'm leaving. Like I said,
Yeah.
I've always been a loner. So here too, it's the same thing. I don't really go out much. If I do one place and then I come back, that sort of thing. But when it comes to food, oh my goodness, I miss everything. I miss the KFC. I miss McDonald's. I miss braai meat,
Uh,
like that proper food. Every time I speak, I'm like, I miss proper meat. People don't understand. People don't understand
yeah.
meat, like, oh, those things. And also, the vibe and culture of South Africa is very different from the vibe and the culture that you get abroad, you know,
Yeah.
especially for a country like China. China is really, really different. It's a very different ball game, especially when you're mostly surrounded by people who cannot speak English most of the time. So there's a communication barrier there. You are surrounded by people who don't really know much about foreigners. When they look at you, it's like, wow, every day. Even like walking or even in class, you get used to, like, they hold your hair, like, oh, your hair. Oh, why is your hair
Yeah.
so long today? So those kind of things. Whereas back home, you were just you. You fitted in perfectly. Nobody would ask you such questions. You would walk and nobody would stare at you. So that sense of belonging sometimes, or that sense of fitting in, you do feel it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I do miss that a lot. And before I left, yeah, it was really bad also for me.
Yeah.
I was
Okay. Just
unemployed.
maybe just before you get there, maybe just before you get there. So I looked into, obviously the question was in South Africa, so that I understand how was your life in South Africa. And obviously you went ahead to start to compare it with China, but obviously it shows how was your life in South Africa, and I think you've highlighted it very well. I think then, okay, you have your food you like, you have the vibe you want, you have friends, you have family, and you're in a country, but the sun is there out. What triggered the decision for you to leave South Africa? Like, what happened? What triggered the decision for you to decide? You know what? No, I have to leave South Africa.
For me, it was just an opportunity. Honestly, I'll just say it was an opportunity because, like I said, I went back to school to study, but then I realized that in South Africa, if you want to be like a teacher or get in there, it's not so easy. You need
Yeah.
experience. And so I kept applying and I wasn't getting, a job for that. So when this opportunity came through, I was like, okay, I'm going to take it because I need experience if I want to come back and teach in South Africa. So yeah, that was why.
Perfect. So, if I understand you well, so you studied your first degree and you couldn't get a job with your first degree, and you get
Yes.
to the point where you're like, let me go back to school, get maybe a PGCE, and look for opportunities. At the time when you went to get or you were pivoting, getting a second degree, was
Mm.
your plan already to go out of South Africa with that second
No.
degree, or it was to still get a job in South Africa still?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, the reason behind me going back to do teaching, I felt like I was really tired of waking up and, working every day.
Mm.
So I felt like, you know what,
Mm.
teachers have a lot of holidays, term one, they close, term two, they close, term three, they close, term four. That's what I want to do. I also want to close when the kids close. I also want to be home, So that's
Yeah.
why I decided, okay, this job is perfect for me. I am that
Yeah.
lazy, so let me go for this.
No, that's fine. So
Yeah.
now you get a teaching qualification. How long did it take you when you got that qualification and getting an opportunity in China? Did you try with your second degree, still not getting a job, and eventually got one in China, or immediately when you finished this qualification, you already got China, so you didn't look outside? You didn't look for the teaching jobs in South Africa?
So, you mean how long it took me to do my second qualification?
No, you did your second qualification, you finished it. How long did it take you this time to get a job in China? And before you got a job in China, did you look around South Africa, or immediately you got this job in China and with this qualification you didn't look in South Africa?
Well, after getting this qualification, I did apply, but not for long. I think
Okay.
when I went through the job requirements, for being a teacher, all of them were like experience, experience, and then I realized that the odds were against me. Like this one, it's either I go and do like the assistant teaching job, and at that time I have financial responsibilities. So if I took
Sure.
assistant teaching job in South Africa, I wouldn't be able to afford the life I was living, to pay like the basic necessities that I need, or to take care of my daughter at that time. So, and there I then looked at online teaching. I
Okay.
did online teaching for like 4 months before coming to China, I think, because that was the first opportunity I actually got. Then, as we kept applying, looking for jobs, I just came across this opportunity and I was like, okay, let me just take it. So, back home, I didn't really take that much time looking for a job, no.
Sure, understood. Now you get this opportunity. Okay, you attend interview, whatever the case is, and then you get either that email or that call. How was that experience like? Where were you? What were you doing when you
Oh,
got that email or that call?
you know what? I
Yeah.
didn't even think it was possible. I think
Mm.
on the day, let me tell you, on the day I got it, I was actually on my way back from Pretoria from an interview. It was another sales
Okay.
job because I was doing sales before I
Okay.
left. So it
Okay.
was
Yeah.
another sales job at a furniture store.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my friend called me. I stopped on the side of the road and I was talking to her and telling her, you know what, friend, this is what's going on. I just came back from an
Yes.
interview and
Yeah.
and. So you know that thing of you talking and then you have your phone on you, you're busy scrolling on your phone
Yeah.
while you're talking.
Yeah.
Then I go to
Yeah.
my email and then there is this email to say congratulations. I screamed.
Oh yeah.
Friend, you will not believe this. You will not believe this. And she's like, what is happening? I said, I just received the contract. That was not even like whatever, it was the contract. And I'm like,
It's
friend, I
tough,
just
eh?
received the contract. I got the job. Like, I was so
Yeah.
happy. Like,
And
the best feeling ever.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's so interesting, eh? That's so interesting. And then from there on, I mean, how was the reaction? Now you are with your friend, which is a good thing. And now the reality that you'll be leaving her hits. At what point? Yes, she'll be excited for you I mean, the first few moments. And at what point did you realize that this is now sinking into both my friends and family? How did they react? Like, how were the emotions for them knowing you are now leaving?
Okay, well, it wasn't with this, it wasn't like a set thing whereby I'm just packing up and going. So there were things that needed to be done before that, the
Yeah,
documentation process, the visa, and all
visa.
of that. So
Mm-hmm.
even when I still had that contract with me, the next step was, where will I get the money to
Yeah,
do all of those documents that I needed for the visa, for all the other things that they required
yeah.
before coming here, you know. And my friend was just like, you know what, it's going to happen. Don't worry about it. You know, you're going to get there. I remember my other friend, I told her, and she was like to me, hey, what if it's human trafficking? You know, because sometimes people are afraid of things they don't know. Like, because it's like an
Yeah.
opportunity like that. How does that happen? You know, I think our mindset back home, like, there's nothing for free. There has to be a
Sure.
catch in everything,
Sure.
you know. So
Yeah.
some people had like that reaction of, maybe it's not true. What if they're lying to you? You know, what if something
Yeah.
happens to you when you get there? What if it's human trafficking? How do you know this is legit? And I said, you know what, at
Yeah.
this point, I'm using faith. What I Googled
Yeah.
is enough. And that's all I'm taking with this. That's all I
Yeah.
said. That's all I said, you know. And
So,
yeah,
so,
those who
so
were
there
happy
must have
for
been
me,
time.
you know.
There must have been times where even those kind of comments made you doubt your decision, right?
Of course, like sometimes I'm like, am I even sure this is happening? What if it's a lie? What if it's fake? What if, you know, a lot of what
Yeah.
ifs. Trust me, there was a lot of what ifs that came with me actually taking this.
Sure. Now you go through the entire process, visa process, you go through everything else. Finally, now is the day you have to hit Tambo and leave the country. How was that experience? Were you still doubting it going into the airport and flying out? And how was everyone around you basically? And how were you feeling?
You know, counting down to those moments, actually, it started becoming real. The thing
Yeah,
that made it real was when I firstly received my booking, my ticket. They booked for me
flight
a
ticket.
ticket. Yes, when I got that, and then when also they started doing orientations online before we started going there, you know, they were like introducing us, because I wasn't the only one. There were a few of us, so we were going to be leaving together. So they had us in this group, and then we would have like weekly meetings where they would teach us more about China before we actually left and came to China. So that's what made it real for me. And also, I sold my things, so there was no turning back. I sold
Yeah.
everything to try and, yeah, you know, just to do everything else. I had to sell stuff.
Yeah.
So things had to go.
Yeah.
So there was no turning back on that. And on the day of leaving, I don't know. I was not excited. I was not scared. I was just like, it's a leap of faith that I'm taking. Like, let's go and see what's happening. If I had to be excited, I'd be excited when I get there. But for now, it was the thing of, I want to see, will I get there?
Yeah.
I think that was
Yeah.
it for me. Yeah.
That's very important, by the way. But just while we're there, so that we don't pass without asking that question, because it is indeed that there are a lot of these emails that come through, a lot of scams that come through, a lot of all these things. Obviously, there is an element of faith that you used, but just to
Yeah.
take a minute, just to educate somebody who's in that position that you are in terms of what are the things that you looked at that really made it to look legit, if you get what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, one key thing was the fact that the post was actually advertised on LinkedIn and through a university. So a certain university actually posted about this opportunity. And that's what for me said, okay, I don't think a reputable university would post something that is fake, you know, because if
Sure.
anything, I will come back and hold them liable for anything that happens to me.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
sue them, you know. So for me, that's what made it
Yeah.
legit. So if anything,
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
research. Check where you are getting
Yeah.
the job ad from. Check if that company is legit. Google is your friend. I know sometimes Google might show different things there and there, but then check the reviews, check if really this company exists. If you must, also call if you're able to in any job. Call, or if they have a WhatsApp line, check the WhatsApp line. If they have an email address, check the email address. If anything says Gmail, don't trust it. Gmail
Yeah.
address for a company, no, don't take it at
Yeah.
all. So yeah,
Yeah.
those are some things that I looked at.
Thank you for highlighting. Those are very important. Okay, sure. Now you take a flight, goes all the way the hours to China. Did you take a direct flight or it was a connecting flight?
It was a connecting flight through Kenya.
Okay. KQ. Okay. Now you land in China. New world for you. New country, new
New
everything.
me, new me.
New you. And as soon as you landed, like what were your shocks? Like what were the things like I didn't expect this? And maybe to start at the beginning, when you landed and now you come to the city, was it what you expected? I think that's the first thing before you would go to what you didn't expect. Was it what you expected?
Oh, it was. It was like literally exactly what I expected, you know, just from landing here. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I am here. You know, the first thing I did was even take a picture, like, welcome. Take a picture right there by the airport, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also the fact that
Yeah.
I wasn't alone. Like I said, I came with a group of other teachers as well. And
Okay,
when we
interesting. Yeah,
landed,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah,
and we were welcomed. So somebody was waiting for us. So we knew somebody
sure.
was coming to get us, you know. So that made it so smooth. Like it made it such a smooth transition. No, so
Yeah.
it was definitely what I expected. Trust me. I didn't go to China. I came to China without a cent, but yeah,
Mm-mm-mm.
they made sure to keep us. So yeah.
And they were the ones taking care of everything.
Yes, from the hotel where we were staying at, for them to do training for us as well before we go to the schools that we were going to teach at. So yeah,
Yeah.
they took care of everything.
Okay, just taking from what you're saying that you didn't have a cent at that time. Like internally, were you not doubting what if they say we must pay for something? Did you have those doubts?
No, I didn't have those doubts because now I could put a face to
Okay.
everything and everyone. Like I said before we left, yeah, before
Yeah.
we left, we had the orientation and we met the whole team, you know, to say, okay, this one is one for recruitment, this one is one for the training, this one does this is the boss or the manager or director, you know. So
Yeah.
when we landed and we saw them still, like three of them were there, then I knew, okay, yeah, this is exactly
Yeah.
it.
This
And
is it. Yeah.
it is a little scary. Yeah, it is a little scary because trust me, like I said, I didn't have a cent. If anything happened, I didn't have money to book another flight to come back home. So this was definitely me
Mm-mm-mm.
taking a
Yes.
leap of
Yeah.
faith. Mm.
It needed bravery more than anything, right? Because or
Exactly.
that faith more than anything. Yeah. Did you have any culture shocks? You're like, okay, this one here. Okay, maybe things are not done this way. Maybe things are not done the way I am used to. Were there any culture shocks for you?
Uh, let me think. Were there any culture shocks? I think one of the culture shocks that I had actually was just the weather. The weather here is very different, you know,
Okay,
and the fact
yeah.
that everybody in the apartment has to have an aircon, like the house has to have an aircon. I'm just like, oh wow, what a
Mm-mm.
luxury, you know. And another culture
Mm-mm.
shock is that people just eat anywhere. Literally, people eat anywhere. When I say people eat anywhere, they don't cook at home. They just eat. They see a little small store there, which is probably a restaurant. They get in, they eat before they go home. In the morning, same thing. The kids, that's where they eat their breakfast. So they're not really people who like have breakfast in the morning, sit down and have proper breakfast, dinner or lunch, have proper breakfast like that at home. No, they eat
Mm-mm.
at those restaurants and they're so affordable. I
Yeah,
think that is another thing, you know. So that was one thing I was like, wow.
interesting. So you being there for this time, at least for that part, do you think you've adapted? Do you eat anywhere, and you don't have to worry about I have to go home and cook?
no. Okay. With regards to the cooking part, I never liked cooking. So,
Yeah.
yes, that one I think I've adapted. It's so nice and refreshing to know that you can order at any time of the day, any time of the night, and food will always be delivered to your door. Like that is that. Another culture shock was people leave their shoes outside the door. So they don't come
Okay.
in with their shoes. Like when they come outside, they leave them there at the door. And also your parcels and stuff, they leave them at the door. Your food, your deliveries, they leave them at the door. Nobody will steal your things. You can come back and find them there. I was just like, wow, this is interesting. So
You come in,
nobody
you
takes your things.
you don't trust them. When first time when they left things outside, you're like, hey, I don't trust them. Did you have that for a moment?
Yes, yes, you have that
Yeah.
mentality from back then. You're like, no, they will steal this. Why would you put this here? You know, but as time goes on, you're
Yeah.
like, wow, actually, nothing like
Yeah.
that happens here. Like there would be
Yeah.
times where I would not lock my door. I leave the whole day and my house is not locked. And I found
Yeah.
it still, everything is like that. Nobody will even come in. I'm just
Okay,
like,
yeah. Until you
this
until you
is.
go home, you must switch on when you get to our tambo. You must know now. You can't just leave things hanging. Yeah.
If I can tell you sometimes the anxiety I have when I have to come back home, oh, it's there, like it's real. It exists, trust me. It
Mm, mm,
exists.
mm, mm. Yeah, no, I was just asking about one part of it, which is like because you highlighted eating out, but
Mm.
just as a being in China or being abroad, how has that changed your identity? How has that changed you? How has that transformed you as a person?
Well, as a person, it has shown me that there's more to life than just the little bubble that I grew up knowing.
Mm, mm,
There are ways in which people live, which is different from how you live. And
mm, mm,
how one views things and how one interprets, like it's very different. I found that there's a lot of communication barrier, and even if you translate in China, somehow
mm,
the like everything gets lost in translation. You might be saying one thing and then actually when they translate it, it means something else. It might come off as a little, brutal. And Chinese people are mostly very direct. They don't have that
mm,
thing of being like, you can actually do it like this. No, they just become direct with you. How you take it, it's up to you. That's how their work ethic is. And another work ethic is that for them, you can never like be 100% perfect. Even if you're doing well, they will never say, wow, great job, you're doing good. Instead, in their culture, they believe that they have to find something to correct. So you cannot always be right all the time. So there must be something that you must always improve on. Like that is their culture. That's
mm,
what they
mm.
believe. So yeah.
So with you as a person, that must have been helping you in terms of lifting up the standard, right? In everything you do. Am I correct?
Yeah, but at first it was really, I must say, it was very, what's this, demotivating. You know, when you
Okay.
feel like
Mm,
you've tried your best, they told you improve on this, you improve it, then they're like, okay, good job. Then they come back and say, yeah, we see you've improved in this, but then maybe try and do this too. And you're like,
mm, mm,
but I
mm,
just like did
mm.
what you said I must do. Now again, you're
Yeah.
saying something else. Like, will I ever get it
Yeah.
right with you guys? But
Yeah.
I'm so happy that with the company I'm with, right? My coordinators are the ones who speak to us. So I can say that they understand both cultures. They understand the communication part, the emotional part of it. So they were able to bring things forth and be like, no, 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 don't take it to heart. It's just that
Yeah.
this is how it is. But just know
Yeah.
that they are happy with what you're doing. They are satisfied. But they
Sure.
can never
Sure.
say we are good, good, good,
Yeah.
perfect, you know. So
Okay.
at
That
first,
that
it,
that
it,
must have
it
been helping because
demotivated me a lot.
yeah. Mm,
But
mm,
after
mm.
they explained it, I was like, okay, now I know. So even if they come and then they see one mistake there, I must be very happy that at least they see something, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
At least there's
that's how it
something they
was.
highlighted as being happy about.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I understand. So you move, your life is continuing there, right? How is your relationship with South Africa now? And this is now South Africa as a country first, and then the people. And how is that relationship? The people you left, do you still have your friends? Do you still have do you still appreciate South Africa the way you appreciate, or you appreciate it more now? What is your relationship right now with South Africa?
Mm. So my relationship with the people back home is at a minimum right now. You know, I think also because of the time zone. And
Yeah,
from first year
it's
to
still
now, I
living.
must say there has been a really big gap and a big change. So the communication is not as it used to be, you know, where every day
Yeah.
we would, or every week after every 3 days or something like that, we would always keep in touch. Now I can go like 2 weeks, 3 weeks without speaking to somebody I used to speak to on a daily basis,
Mm-mm.
you know.
Mm-mm.
So that's
Yeah.
how it has gotten. And I think maybe it's because I'm too busy now, unlike when I started here first year, you know. And also the relationship with back home, home will always be home.
Yeah.
Like honestly, that's it. South
Sure.
Africa will always be
Sure.
home. But I must say, I feel more free, more at ease, more content here, where, you know, unlike when I'm back home. So I feel like if I go back home, I need to have so much to go and survive. I'm not even saying live, but to survive, you know, because right now where I am, I'm not surviving, you see.
Mm.
So if I take the same whatever here and I go home, it would be me going to survive kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And understand,
it's
understand. You keep saying if I take, but you said you're content there, you feel happy, that is in a
yeah.
way, and you feel like
Mm,
what you have there is enough and you are able to live, not survive.
yes.
But you still say, if I keep going back home, what is home to you? Like, how do you define home? What is home to you?
Okay, for me, home now is where my daughter
Yeah.
is. Home is
Okay.
where yeah, it's where my daughter is. That is home for me. And unfortunately, right now she's not with me.
Should your
So
should your
yeah.
daughter be in China? Will China feel
Hmm.
homely to you? Should your daughter move to China, will China feel homely to you?
No, no,
That's why I was
no.
asking, what is home to you? Because, but do you think it feels the more you are staying there? You say how many years again you're there for?
It's 3 years now.
3 years now. Do you feel the more you are there for more years, it's starting to feel because to some people, home is familiarity, things that you're familiar with. Home to some people is the people that they live with or they stay with when they are home. To some people, it means different things where I was born. So that's why I was asking to you. Um, let's say if it's familiarity, the more you get familiar with China, does it continue to feel like home? And now you're saying your daughter is back in South Africa. When she's with you, will it still
Yeah,
feel like home, or to you, home doesn't change? Because that's it. That's
yeah.
it. Mm.
Okay, if you put it in that sense, yes, because now I'm thinking about the China way that I know China,
Yeah,
you know. But if she were to come and be with me, then yeah, that would be home with her. But
yeah.
I don't think it would be China, and I don't think it would be South Africa. If I get the opportunity to go to another country, I will go.
Mm.
Then she will be home
Sure,
with me.
sure,
That is
sure.
it.
So you still regard yourself as South African, you still regard home as South Africa. Because it
Yeah.
gets to the point where the definition of home, that's what immigration, it gets to the point where when you look at it, depending on how one defines home, they end up saying where I am
Yeah.
is actually home. Do you get me?
Mm,
Excuse
mm,
me.
mm, mm, mm.
So,
Yeah.
okay, just, yeah. So I've asked you how that has changed you as a person, and I've asked in terms of familiarity, and then now we go to work. Obviously, you've highlighted it a bit in terms of how the depreciation is, because I wanted to just ask how is your work experience, and now this is both the effort, just the culture, just that. But I think you've already highlighted a bit. I'm not sure if there's something you want to highlight there in terms of how is your work experience comparing South Africa and China. Not sure if there's anything further you want to highlight there.
Well, with regards to experience, I must say, like the culture, the work culture here, they take work very seriously. That's one thing, you know. If I can say, ever since I've worked, I've never taken a leave. I know there's a leave somewhere that I am entitled to, but I have
No.
never taken leave in the 3 years that I've worked in this school.
Yeah.
So that tells you
And
how these people are serious about work, okay? That's just how it is. If you take a leave, it's taken as like a taboo, like, oh, did you not come to school? You know, you can even feel it like in your like yourself that, oh
tense
no,
when
I
you
did
come back.
something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, as if you did something
Without it
wrong.
being communicated.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so
Yeah.
it's like their work culture, they believe that you have to be at work. Unless I don't know what happens, maybe you in hospital, you
Sure.
know, in a hospital bed, then that would be understandable. But they take really the work culture very, very seriously.
Yeah, I understand it. Yeah, that helps. I wanted the next question was to ask in terms of the finances, but I think that you've already elaborated well in terms of from where you are sitting in your own view, assessing your own life. You think the means that you're living with now, you'd have to go and survive in South Africa than to live.
Yeah.
If so from a from a financial standpoint for you, it's a yes for someone, it's really worth it. Do you feel it's worth it? Do you feel financially it was worth it to leave South Africa and go to China?
Definitely. Definitely, it
Sure.
was worth it to come to China.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
because I remember in my second year,
Yeah.
a friend, um, they were looking for somebody back home because I was really on that thing of complaining that, you know, I left my daughter there, you know, I would like to get a job back home, you know. And my friend at that time was like, okay, actually, at my husband's company, they are looking for somebody, you know.
Sure.
And I said, okay. And she said, I can, you know, you can send your CV and then get an interview there at my husband's work and then see how it goes. Did that. I got an interview, went for the interview, and I got offered the job, right? So I got offered the job when I was coming back to China for my second year, and
Sure.
I had renewed my contract. So now when I looked at the contract they gave me, you know, what they were offering and what I'm getting offered in China, obviously it made better sense for me to take the one here in China. So that's what I
And
mean.
still go back
Like,
to China. Yeah.
yeah, like even when you looked at it, it wasn't like it was a bad salary. It was a good salary. But how good is it
Good
than
is
the one
relative.
getting?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the good in it, yes, I would be surviving with that salary. Would I be saving? No. Firstly, how am I getting to work? I would need to travel. You know, traveling is very expensive to get to work. I would have to buy my own groceries as well. You know, my
Yeah.
daughter would have to move, come stay with me. We'd have to find an apartment and pay for it, all in that
Sure.
salary. Whereas
Sure.
working in China, you know, when you work abroad, your accommodation is taken care of. Um, you work close to where you stay. Like literally, I walked like 10 minutes to my workplace. So that's just how close I am. So I don't have to worry about that.
Interesting.
There are
Interesting.
meals. Yeah, there are meals at school. There's breakfast, there's lunch, there's
Oh,
dinner.
that's good.
You know, if
Is
I
it the
feel like I
kind of
don't want to
food?
cook at
Is it
home,
the
then
kind of
eat.
food you want? Is it the kind of
Sometimes
food you
yes,
want?
sometimes no. So it depends, what they cook the day, like what they cook, hey, sometimes, you know, but yeah.
That's
Mm.
interesting. And that's interesting to hear, by the way. Yeah, in terms of financial, in terms of the cost of living, obviously, yes, you may
Yeah,
have
it's affordable.
it being higher in China. Cost of living in comparison
Mm.
to South Africa, you feel like China is more affordable.
Yeah, the cost of living in South Africa is a little bit higher compared to being here. I must
Sure.
say, I will take being here
Yeah.
than being home,
Sure.
honestly.
Yeah. Understood. Okay. Now, yeah, that's very interesting. And this is now you just put me alone in a foreign country. How has that contributed? I mean, in you, like in terms of growth as a human being, in terms of now, how do you view yourself? Do you view I can go anywhere in the world now, or all those things? So growth, personal growth, as Upumi.
Yeah. So I must say personally for me that it has unlocked different opportunities,
Sure.
you know,
Sure.
in the sense that I
Mhm.
can travel whenever I feel
Sure.
like it.
Sure.
So I
Sure.
could do things that I was not able to do. Yes, that's
Yeah.
actually what I love about it.
Yeah.
Before you dreamed about it, back home it was
Yeah.
difficult for you to go from here and just go to Durban. You stayed in
Sure.
South Africa for so long, but you
Sure.
haven't been to Durban, you know.
Sure.
But when I was working here, I was able to go back home and just book and go to Durban. Even when I'm
Sure.
here, able to visit like the other countries. I've been to Thailand, you think of Vietnam and other countries surrounding. You're like, okay,
Sure.
I see the tickets. This I can actually afford. I can go there.
Sure. And
Mm.
anytime you want. Yeah. It's just the question you don't have leave
Yeah.
days. You can't take leave.
Uh,
I'm kidding. I'm
My
kidding.
leave days are in paper, okay? Not that they are in
Okay.
paper, in fine
Yeah.
print,
Yeah.
but I don't know them, okay?
Yeah.
You know,
No,
so yeah.
that's
And
yeah.
I like that
Yeah.
the holidays are very long. So here
Yeah.
we have semesters. We have 2 semesters, so they're very long. They give you enough time
Okay.
for you to like
Yeah.
travel.
To
Imagine a whole
travel
two
also.
months to
Mm-hmm.
just do whatever you want, resting.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
that. And I am also studying again. So it made it possible for me to continue and pursue my other
Sure.
qualification now. So now I'm studying and I'm able to pay for my fees. I don't
Interesting.
even complain
Interesting.
about it,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh,
those are some things.
that's very much important. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is very much important. So when you look into the life you just painted now, and you look into the life that you said yourself was difficult before when you were home, and obviously that time maybe you're not as working as you're working now. Do you see yourself
Yeah.
one day returning to South Africa? I heard you talking about other countries, but do you see yourself returning to South Africa?
Oh yes, most definitely. That's why I'm studying. That's why I'm studying because the goal is to go back, and teach home.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm doing this qualification, to make sure that even when I go back home, I have like some skills to back it up to say, no, I wasn't just doing this, but I also have
Sure.
a qualification added to it. So it makes it easier to find a job. Because honestly, at this point, I'm at a point where if I apply for a job back home and I get it, and the salary is, comfortable enough,
Sure.
I will go back home. I can go back home.
Yeah. No, interesting. So, in just obviously, why you are saying that now there's somebody in South Africa who is in that position that you were in at the time before you came to China. What insights? What would you give them? Like, what advice would you give them?
Okay, so to people, I will say that they must travel. You know,
Sure. Sure.
don't listen to people. Don't limit yourself. There are other
Sure.
opportunities out there. You know,
Sure.
and the more
Sure.
you travel, the more you are Leonard. I don't know if there's a word saying Leonard. We'll have to say Leonard, but
Sure.
the more you learn, yes,
Yeah.
the more you see how people live. Your mind will not be in a box.
Sure.
For example, like for somebody to just tell you, oh, they will. There's human trafficking. They will kidnap you. You know, that is a mindset that tells you that we've been told or put in that thing to say, don't trust any opportunity. Don't go for what you want. You know, limit yourself. Stay here. Stay here. This is where you need to be. Don't go overboard. Don't do this. But if you tell yourself sometimes when you want something, you need to push. Don't limit yourself. Let the limit be something else. But try everything, you know. And I know there's a lot of people who want to come. Yes, they must never give up. They must keep trying.
Yeah, I was about to say that your suggestion there, or your recommendation is for somebody who has money to travel and can travel and go see places. Now you are talking to a poor me who does not have that money to travel. They are in South Africa, they are employed, but they are surviving, or somebody's unemployed. What advice would you give them in terms of going about getting opportunities in China? Just advice, or even in some other countries, advice on would one go about getting that job? Obviously, we try to safeguard we don't want our guests to now have a list of people going to them. Okay, advise me on this, advise me on that. This is the only time we're just asking that plain as basic an overview, or even what are the ways of just trying to get there.
Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, I came through something different, right? I came through a program. That's how I got here. And I think when I'm on TikTok, because I've posted about it, like once or twice, so that whatever the video I posted got a little bit of a hit, like few hits, so people still see it and then will like contact me, message me, and ask questions about the program. So that I have no problem with. But I think that if you do really want to come to China, make sure you have a degree. Degree is very important, especially if you want to do teaching. You know, in China, teaching is regarded as one of those important jobs that they need. You know, so if you don't have like a B.Ed or an education qualification, your degree, just the degree that you have, is enough. Then you can back it up with a TEFL certificate. There are reputable companies that do that. You can do that. Make sure you have a clear criminal record as well. Very important. Only those three. And also, please, there are companies that will pay for your flight if you don't have the money to pay for the flight. So just make sure that you search around for those, and do not pay anyone for a job. Very important. Do not pay any agency for a job, because they are paid by the school to find you. So if you get a recruiter, the recruiter just facilitates the whole process. You know, the school pays them. You don't have to pay anything to them. So yeah, and that's what's important. So if
Thank you so much for that.
There are, you can just Google teaching jobs in China, and you will go through a list of so many websites of that.
Thank you so much for that. I mean, it's insightful, and I'm sure people will benefit out of it. And obviously, it's the role to just play in terms of going online and just check what you were suggesting there. So you are in South Africa, you realize there are certain issues that led to the decision of you going out, because you felt, if my interpretation is 100%, you felt you don't have enough opportunities as you would have preferred in South Africa. And as a result, you're getting an opportunity outside and you leave South Africa. Not necessarily willingly to say, I'm going to explore or whatever, but it's a thing of, I don't have what South Africa is not providing what I need for me at home. What advice, if you were a president being Ramaphosa, as we record this video, what are the things that you think South Africa as a country should focus on in trying not obviously to leak out the talent like yours to other countries, and making sure they deliver the expectations of somebody like yourselves?
Yeah. I think that the government, firstly, they are more focused on positions. Like they just want to be in
Sure.
power. Um,
Sure.
they're fighting for money which is not even supposed to be theirs. That's what happening. That's
Sure.
what's happening. You know,
Sure.
um, I feel like if they focus more on the youth in terms of employment, because a lot of us youth are employable. We have the
Sure.
qualifications, but because they the other higher ones up there, they want to keep the jobs. They don't want to like retire. But you are being told that, oh, the retirement age for a working person is 65. But you still find somebody in parliament who's 70. Why are you
Sure.
70 and in parliament when you should be opening that space and take retirement, since they said that retirement in South Africa is from 60, 65, you can retire. Why is it? So those people still want to be in power. And also nepotism is another big thing. How many times have
Sure.
people applied for jobs, especially in government, and then only for them to just advertise the job, but then they already know who's going to take the job,
Sure.
So most people who are already in government keep the positions for their family members. That's it. So you being you or me being me getting in there, it's going to be difficult. And
Yes.
now also there's the thing of government no longer hires people permanently. Instead, they do contracts. So they hire
Sure.
you for a year or 2 years. Then after your contract ends, and before your contract ends, they advertise your post. Then you have to reapply. And then,
Sure.
so you reapply, other people outside reapply. And then suddenly, if they choose them and then not you, then you are out of a job. That's how
Sure.
one of my
Sad.
friends, uh, just like that.
That's a, I mean, yeah, that's a very sad story. Thank you, and thank you for that, because I mean, as much as you highlight the problems, obviously we focus on what is it that can be done and done differently. And I think you highlighted things like age restriction, let them not have that age cap as they have, and I think obviously you're talking about they need to focus on decentralizing, if that is the correct word, of jobs rather than keeping them to themselves. I think the most there's something that's very important that you said at the beginning, that you get anxiety when you think of going back home. There's this anxiety that you have. What are the things that you really worry about when you think of, okay, what if tomorrow I was taking a flight back home for good? What are those things that you get worried about that you'll be losing now in China, and you'll be exposed to this kind of risk or something in South Africa?
Yeah. So obviously crime. Crime
Ish.
is too
Yeah.
much in South Africa.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Yeah.
here you can walk any time of the day or
Sure.
night. Nothing
Mm.
will happen to you. Like you are
Yeah.
even afraid to pick up 100 kwai or 50 kwai that you see on the streets. You will
Yeah.
not pick it up. You know,
Yeah.
that's how safe this
That's good.
country
That's a
is.
good indication. Yeah, that's a
You
good
can
indication. Yeah.
lose,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can lose something and you get it back. Because why? There are cameras
Yeah.
everywhere. In China, there's
Sure.
literally, when you leave your house, immediately you step
Yeah.
out, there's a camera
Sure.
facing you, camera in your
Sure.
community, cameras on the streets, cameras
Sure.
everywhere. If I can say one thing, even the police here are just here to say hi. Like literally, they're just there to say hi to you because, I mean, there is no crime. Literally, the crime here, accidents. I've never seen an accident. Ever since I've been in China, I've
Nice.
never seen an accident. But
Interesting.
when you go back home, there are accidents. You see this overturned car
Yeah.
on the road, you see this one
Sure.
crashed. And I can tell you the people here cannot drive. They don't know how to
Mm.
drive. They drive crazy. But I've never come across an accident. Never. I don't know how they do it.
Interesting. Do you think it's the
There's
number
no
of
accident.
cars on the road? Or you've already highlighted, because I was going to say, do you attribute it to the number of cars on the road, or you attribute it to the driving? Are they obeying their roles or what?
Yeah, no, they do obey the rules of the road.
Yeah.
That is, they do very well. There's a lot of cars in China. China has a lot of people and has a lot of cars, to a point where some cars are just parked on the side of the road because there's no parking. And that's just how it is. A person can just leave their car somewhere there for days and weeks. They'll still find it
So
in there. Like, that's how safe this country is, you know. So it's all about obeying the law themselves.
yeah,
So yeah, I think
without being followed
yeah,
back, which is the most
yeah, no,
important
they
thing.
hold themselves accountable. And even
Yeah.
the kids, you will never see the kids on the streets. The
Okay.
kids are either, if they're going out, it's with the parents and then they're back home. There are no children that you see hanging around, doing all these things. I think that's another thing, you know.
Yeah.
There are no kids here. The kids that you see is when they get out of school, uh, they play for that little hour or two, and
Sure.
then they shower, they go to bed. Again in the morning, they are awake at 7, they have to be at school. So that's the children's life here. You will never see them idling around. There's nothing like that. Like,
The
really.
fact that you're
Like,
using you're using the word idling around. Some
yeah.
people go back. Some people when they go back home, they're like, okay, well, especially when they do for kids, they're like, we want kids to grow up the way we grew up. I want them to play barefoot outside. And you,
Yes.
to your
Yes.
view, that barefoot, do you prefer the barefoot or you prefer not to see kids in coats idling around?
Honestly, I would love to see kids barefoot in South Africa. That would be
Yeah,
amazing. But because of how the crime rate is right now, it is not
sure,
safe.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
I don't know how I survived it back then. Maybe because there was not much of social media. Maybe we didn't know more about these things, that actually there is a lot of kidnapping, there is a lot of, crime happening growing up.
Yeah,
If it was there,
yeah,
if this stats were high, we don't know. But we were safe, you know. We didn't have to worry about playing on the streets. We
yeah,
never heard that there's something that happened to our neighbor or a friend that we play with around. We were all just kids playing. But nowadays, as a
sure,
parent, you get worried if your child is playing outside the yard. After every 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you have to go check if they're still there. you know
sure.
you don't
Understandable.
just sit and relax and be like, oh, my child is playing outside. It's no longer safe. Like, literally, you'd rather have them sitting at home, maybe watching TV. That's about it.
Understand. But that's very much important. So, yeah, with everything obviously we've asked you, that's what we thought maybe we can get more information from you. And thank you so much for participating in
Yeah.
that. Is there anything when you think throughout your journey that is something that you would want to share with people?
Throughout my journey, in me coming here or me living here, or
So in you moving to China, basically, in you moving to China and staying there, is there anything you would like people to know about the journey that we didn't cover as part of our questions? Sure.
one thing is, the people here change. If there's one thing I can say, um, people are not as you know them. Like, it's really tough being here. It is very lonely, you know.
Yeah, sure,
So you need to have I don't know, a strong mindset to survive here. It's really
sure,
difficult. It's not all rosy because, like I said,
sure,
most of the time you spend working, you know. So if you spend most of the time working, you need to have something, like you need to have a strong faith or a strong group of people, a strong, like like, I don't know what to call
network
it. I
of
don't know
some sort.
if I'm
Yeah,
making sense. Yeah, like a close network of some sort, some people or someone you can go back to, because
sure,
there is just a lot happening. Although we say yes, we are content, yes, there's this, but psychologically and emotionally, it can be draining.
sure.
you are far from home, so
Yeah.
you need to have a very strong mindset
Support
when you come
system
here.
or support model.
Yeah, have a strong support
Sure.
system as well. Because we've
Yeah.
had people who were working here for a year and then they were like, no, this is not for me. Then they go back.
Sure.
Some have been here for like a month and they're like, no, 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 cannot do this. So you need to
Yeah.
be prepared here because anything can happen at any time. And also, another thing is, as much as we say we're here, I don't know if it happens or how, but China doesn't have like a permanent job, right? So
Sure.
it's also contract. So it depends on contracts as well. So that's another thing you have to think about if you're going to come
Of every
to
time
live
when
here
it's
for
nearing the end, yeah.
yeah, that kicks in again to say, oh
That thing
no,
of you can
will
be out
they
of job
renew my
anytime.
contract or will I have
Yeah.
now to go start finding
Sure.
another job? So you can find
Sure.
yourself without a job at any time. That's just how it
Sure.
is. You know, it's just a
Interesting.
sad
Interesting insight.
reality.
Yeah.
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 So that is something you
Interesting.
need to take.
That is a very interesting insight. So you need to take that into account, basically. Yeah.
Yes,
How
yes,
did
you need to
they
think
how did
about that.
they how did the children receive you? Like how did the kids receive you as a teacher in China?
Okay. So I teach primary and middle
So
school. So in the area that I am, I think they are more the kids here are, let's call them just rich kids. They are exactly that. They're rich kids. So they are those
yeah.
kids who have traveled. So their parents own businesses most of the time. So obviously during vacations, holidays, they do travel abroad. So they do know a little bit that, oh, there is a foreign person, you know.
So
So for them receiving me, it was not really bad. They were not like, oh, we're scared of this person. Why are they like this in color? Why those sort of questions? No.
so
Mostly it was the hair. The hair, even the older one are fascinated by that. Even the parents are fascinated that today I have this hairstyle. Tomorrow I'm wearing a wig. The next thing my hair is like in a bun,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So for them it's
Yeah.
like, oh, is this your hair?
Yeah.
So every time I get that,
Yeah.
whatever, it's your real hair, what
So
happened, So you always have to keep explaining that. Um, and kids are kids, you know as we know, kids take what you tell them and
so
what they are taught,
exactly.
what they
So
see, and
yeah.
you can see it in them. And with
Yeah.
kids, I know it's curiosity. With the grannies as well, that you meet on the road and then they stare at you, like they keep staring at you until you say hi, and then they're like, ha ha ha, ni hao, because now they can see that, oh, I've been staring for so long at this person. They realized, so it's that of things, that you go through. And sometimes they want to touch you. No, I think they feel like you don't exist. Sometimes they want to take pictures with you when you go out. Yeah, you're like a celebrity. Like the other day, I went to one of the parents asked me to join them. They were going to this concert on the road. So my area is not like a big foreigner city where you'd find lots of foreigners. So now, in all those people that were there, it was Chinese. I was the only foreigner there. So you could pick me out. Like literally, this was one foreigner there in all of
Yeah.
these Chinese people. So that's just how it is when we're like, hey, 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 hey. And everybody obviously stares. Others will want
Yeah.
to take pictures of you because they're like, oh, we're seeing a foreigner here, click, click. So that still happens. You walk around and then people just want to take pictures of you.
Yeah.
In a ride, the driver like wants to chat you up and take pictures with you. You have to get to a point where you don't get offended. I feel like a lot of
Sure.
people like to get offended by that, but for me, it's like I understand. I understand, maybe you haven't traveled, you haven't seen somebody like me. Obviously, we're all not the same, so it's okay. It's okay. It's okay for you to be
Yeah.
curious, and it's okay for you to ask questions. As long as you're not being disrespectful, then I'm more than like happy to oblige and, take a picture with you, those type of things. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's understandable. Thank you so much, Pumi, for giving all that information for free. We really appreciate it, and thank you so much for telling your story. Very interesting, Jenny. I'm hoping that I've myself learned from your experience. I myself learned from your journey, and I'm hoping that a lot of people will learn from your journey. Thank you so much, and I hope that you continue to watch other people's journeys.
I will definitely. Now I will
Thank-
definitely watch. Eh?